As far as today's subject matter is concerned, we're talking about real estate and the nuances of it. We're talking about things that people don't know. Now, this is information I share in the mentorship program, but let's just share some of this information to you all now. Let's say you purchase a property at the tax deed auction. And when you buy this property, let's say it's a $100,000 property and you're buying the property for about, let's say, $7,000. Of course, you know this is $7,000 represents the amount equal past due and back taxes. We know that they're not going based off of the assess value of the property, more rather the county selling the property for the amount equal due and back taxes. So let's say the property is $7,000. What we know is assessed value was 100 grand. Now you buy the property for 7,000. You wait the time you get your deed. What then do you do? Well, there's a couple things that you need to take into consideration. One, you need to transfer the ownership to your company. Get it out of your name if you bought it in your name. That company, namely, should be a trust. To preference, it should be an irrevocable trust, or maybe a real estate investment trust, or maybe even an endowment fund trust. It should be one of the three things. But we'll move forward. You want to transfer that deed over to the trust. And this will be reflective in the title, of course. Very important information. Of course, the mentorship program, I'll elaborate and expound more why we're using this type of strategy. Of course, when you do so, you need to have a security agreement. And this is the precursor to you setting up a UCC. The security agreement will, in elaborate form, identify the relationship amongst you, the entity, particularly the trust, and that property. It's going to be very important. If you take it a step further, then perhaps you may have like an LLC or C Corp, S Corp, Type B, private gift company, whatever the case may be. And you'll make one entity work or perform in public, and to preference, you'll have the trust work in the private. So the trust will automatically have a superior lien on the entity that you use to purchase the property. That's when we're doing it at our highest level. And this is for you to establish yourself as a secure party creditor, not based on speculation, more rather operation. So you don't want to be a secure party creditor based on your speculative ability. You want to be a secure party creditor in an assertion that's based on your demonstration. Because with that comes certain real estate and tax benefits. With that comes certain concessions that would be made onto you based on your demonstration, based on your performance as far as purchasing is concerned. Always understand that there's always going to be concessions made to free people. When you're an adult acting in your minority instead of your majority, there will be little to no concessions made to you. And what that means is, by law, the word minority doesn't allude to percentage. The word minority alludes to an adult acting in an adolescent state of mind. So when we purchase things outside of an adult manner, then what happens is we're rendered what you call a homo commendatus. There are many other occasions you're rendered a homo commendatus. And again, this is in conformity with you being a minority based on law, which is an adult behaving in an adolescent state of mind. Here's an example. Anything that has any certificate that you are issued or is issued is accompanied by a QSIP. An QSIP represents a Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedure. The key word is security, and security is a paper certificate that attests to ownership and equity as in the case of a stock, or ownership of a bond as in the case of a debt obligation which has tradable derivatives, which means it can be sold on the stock market. When you're acting in your minority, it means you can't handle regular obligations and day-to-day situations that adults can handle. So you need a third party to intervene in order for you to fulfill or execute the normal actions of an adult. Here's an example. When you're born into this world, the suggestion is, well, you know what? You're too incompetent to bring children into this world without a third party. So you're going to go to the third party's institution and they're going to issue you a birth certificate. They're going to issue you a birth certificate. And a birth certificate has a Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedure on it, a QSIP. That's what the acronym stands for. So it's the security. So we know we're too incompetent to give birth. We're too incompetent to bring our own children into this world. We need a third party to help us bring life into this world. So they're going to issue a birth certificate. When it's now time to conjoin or bond with the opposite sex and get married, guess what? We're too incompetent to do that. So we need now a marriage certificate. Now, that's not it. Even when it comes time to die, we need a death certificate. So we need them to bring us into this world or help us bring our children into this world. We need them to help us join in union with our lovers. And we also need them to send us out of this planet. We always need a third party to help us. When you're dealing with free people, they don't need that. When you're dealing with free people, they don't need third party assistance because they have a culture. And the culture comes from common customs. What is common customs? Common customs is a calculative system that precipitates culture. By process of differentiation and integration, we're able to find the value of smaller things and factorials of those equivalents, thus granting us the least adverse effects from the decisions that we make. Again, I don't make these things up. Well, actually, that's in my lesson. So that wording, that verbiage, that diction comes from me. But as far as the definitions of all those other phraseologies and terminologies, I just commit them to memory because it's very important for what I got to do. And anything that's life-changing or game-changing for me, I'm going to commit to memory. And of course, I made sure holistically, I indulge in the herbs and the type of regimen and activity for me to have the best memory that my body would accommodate for. All right? So it's about a holistic approach towards education. It's not just study and read the right books. It's being in a conducive environment. It's taking the right type of herbs and surrounding yourself around the right type of people and knowing when not to be around people. Okay? So we move forward so I don't digress. I just want to point these things out that when we're dealing with real estate, keep in mind that you start school from pre-K, idealistically, most of us get to 12th grade, and it's 14 years of schooling that transpires, and you're supposed to be getting prepared to be an adult. And when you graduate from school, after 14 years of school, with the promise that you need this information to survive in this world, they taught you nothing about credit. They taught you nothing about security agreements. They taught you nothing about purchase agreements. They taught you nothing about UCC, which anybody dealing with real estate is supposed to know something about UCC. Okay? They taught you nothing about deeding, the deeding process when it comes to purchasing real estate. They taught you nothing about titles. They taught you nothing about title searches. Okay? They taught you nothing about the tax equalization ratios and how that affects your purchase, how it implicates you or impacts you when it comes to your property. They taught you nothing about studying the comps. They taught you nothing about the county surveyor. They taught you nothing about what you need the assessor's office for. Okay? They taught you nothing about how to be an adult. Yet you spent 14 years, got a diploma, and now what are you going to do? The first thing you got to do is get your own home. And they never taught you anything about how to purchase a house in school. So how much do they really care about you if you go to school for 14 years and they never taught you anything about how to buy a house? Never taught you anything about the word deed in itself. It wasn't even a vocabulary word for 14 years of school. You didn't even learn the word deed. You didn't even learn the word title. You didn't even learn what type of mortgage to get. You don't know the difference between a bargain and sales deed or a warranty deed. You don't even know. But you're going to go out there and you're going to buy a home and you're going to trust the seller to educate you on the home. And the seller happens to be the banks that's constantly getting in trouble for stealing people's monies. The same banks. And you're going to open up an account with them tomorrow, knowing that you could go all over online and it's been confirmed how much millions of dollars have been taken from people. But you were worried about your own people stealing from you. But you're going to go and get a student loan, and you're never going to ask for a refund, even though they're never going to follow through on what they said your education was worth. You're never going to get a refund. You're not even going to ask them for a refund on your student loan. You don't have the gall nor the audacity to do so. But you will look at your own people And because the channel can be monetized, you're going to put some commercials there and degrade your own people so white people can benefit from it. Companies, white families and establishments will benefit from your degradation of your own people. Anyway, so we're going to real estate, and let's say you buy a property for $7,000 and it's worth $100,000 from a tax deed auction, and we understand that they're selling the property based on the past due delinquent property tax per the redemption period. The redemption period is the amount of time that a county allows you to go delinquent before they solicit the sale of your debt in the form of a lien. Okay, that's exactly what a lien is. A lien is an encumbrance. It's a debt obligation. So now, you purchase the property for $7,000. You know the assets value is $100,000. Now you have to pay taxes on that property. If you're under Brother Polight's guidance, tutelage, or mentorship, remember, if you're interested, go to brother, Polight 45 at gmail.com. Brother Polight 45 at gmail.com. Always leave your full name and your phone number. Taking X amount of students. Only a small amount because I'm retired. All right. Now you get this property for $7,000. It's worth $100,000. Now you have it. What then do you do with the tax situation? Well, most of you are going to wind up still paying taxes for a $100,000 property. But what you don't realize is if you bought the property for $7,000, you should be paying taxes based on $7,000, not based on $100,000. They don't tell you that. Now, you may not realize how deep and how important that information is. If the property is worth $100,000 and you go to a tax deed auction and you buy it for $7,000, you need to deal with the tax assessor. You need to deal with the assessor office. You need to make sure you get the taxes changed up on that property. Why? Because you bought it for $7,000. So you legally have the right to pay taxes on a property as though its assessed value is $7,000 because that's what you bought it for, despite the fact it's worth $100,000. So now you got a $100,000 property that you're only paying taxes in fair ratio to $7,000. Now you have to make an adjustment in the tax equalization ratio. Now you have to deal with that, and that's also based on comps. And I have to show you mathematically how to conduct those evaluations. I also have a pay-per-view course that I taught people about that empowers people with that as well. Okay, where you have to do the math. I taught that in the course already, how to evaluate tax equalization ratio, especially per the state. So this is just an example of some of the information that you learned during the mentorship program, and just something that I'm just giving away on the strength. Because so much information, there's so many different strategies, so many different tactics, so many different approaches. I'm just giving you some knowledge. You also want to deal with the county surveyor, and there's other entities that you want to communicate with to get information. The reason why you want to get into the thick of different institutions that are set up for you to learn is because of this. Consider this. If there were building plans for a community, somebody would already have put down the projection. And if these building plans are, for example, for a mall, oftentimes there's land around that area. Vacant land, vacant lots. So you may say, man, what I want to buy vacant lots for? Like Raleigh, you got people buying vacant lots. Yes, I have people buying vacant lots because we understand that 5 years, 7 years, 8 years from now, they have building plans for a major project over there. And what's going to happen is you're going to buy the land that's in the way of that project. And guess what's going to happen? The people that are invested in purchasing that area are going to have to buy you out because your land is right in the way or within the vicinity of where they plan to build. Facts. So what you're doing is investing long term. This is an expenditure. This is not a short-term investment. This is an expenditure. You're going to invest in this lot under the pretense that you understand what the projections are. You understand what they're planning to build there in the future. So you're going to purchase it just to be in their way, and they're going to have to buy you out. I'll show you how to do the research on that. So to other people, it's just junk. It's just a vacant land. Who cares? Who's concerned? But you understand what the blueprint is. You understand what the zoning rules are. You understand you're right in the way. And oftentimes they don't go out their way to buy all that stuff yet because they still going through the prerequisite steps to authenticate and officialize their process. From pre-K to 12th grade, 14 years of school, and they didn't teach you to even give you the vocabulary word deed. They didn't even give you the vocabulary word title. UCC, Uniform Commercial Code. What is paperwork in law? Court. Court means paperwork. Therefore, the courtroom is what? The forum in which you discuss the paperwork. And that's why I teach, and it's common knowledge for those who are proficient or made suitable proficiency in the preceding degrees, that your paperwork must precede you. Your paperwork must precede you. And what that means when we say your paperwork must precede you, yes, what that means is when you say your paperwork must precede you means your conversation should already be embedded into that legal forum before you show up on day one. So when they ask you, do you understand the nature of these charges? You say, yes, I understand the nature of these charges, but not how they apply to me. Well, how do you plead? I'm not here to make pleas nor plea bargains. I'm here on special appearance to challenge the court on the grounds they lack jurisdiction over organic living soul. Well, we're going to put a plea in for you anyway. Objection. Under the grounds you lack jurisdiction over organic living soul, make you violation of the supreme laws of the land. Put your hands down. Self-preservation is first law of my inherited birthright. Take that hat off. This is not a hat. This is a headdress that denotes my nationality. I got all this in my brain. I know I digress. Let me get back to real estate. But what you don't realize is that's property talk. You're considered state property. You have to show that they lack jurisdiction. What is legally being said in the phraseology that they use? Diction. See, that dictionary should be a definitionary because most of you only open it up to find out the meanings. Diction is the way a person uses an assortment of words or the way that they say a word in particular. Okay? So we don't really open up the dictionary to enunciate words properly, nor do we open up the dictionary to find out how to properly assort words in a way so we can best communicate to others what we mean. We normally just go for the meaning. So it should be a definitionary. But when we're dealing with jurisdiction, we're dealing with that which is legally said. What is legally being said when you have jurisdiction, okay? Or when you're challenging someone's jurisdiction. And this is why it's important to establish yourself as a secured party creditor through the Crown Doctrine that we set up. Because when you establish yourself as a secured party creditor, not speculatively, but operatively. And what I mean by speculative, people speculatively have everything on paper that suggests how powerful they are, and they be prideful. They got so many people selling you all types of paperwork that tells you how great you are, what the government can do, what power you actually have. Well, in fact, it's just speculation. What I teach is you need to collateralize an asset, and in doing so, you secured it. Hence the term secured party creditor. That means that you have an interest in something that has been perfected. It's called a perfected claim. And what that does is diffuse the presumption of the item sonance. And the item sonance is a false rendering of a name based on distinction of characters. So they can use your name all caps or lowercase, and just because of that distinction, there'd be a presumption of law or an inference made that they're talking to two different entities, and they'll have one qualify the other. And this is why, even if you look at a bank check, you take your glasses or a magnifying lens and you put it on the place where you sign, you'll come to terms with the fact that, oh, sweat, there's words there that I'm signing on that line. That line isn't a line, it's a group of words that says authorized signature. Whose signature are you authorizing? The transmitting utility. And this is why when they summons you to court, that's exactly what they're doing. They're calling on a ghost or a spirit. They're calling on someone to come in the personage of the fiction, the legal fiction. I'm not making up these terms. They're calling on someone to represent the legal fiction that they created and put into the Sesticade Trust from the time that you was born, when they created a promissory note in the form of the certificate of manifesto, namely your birth certificate. I know I said a lot, you can always rewind it. You feel me? I just be in the flow, so I'm just dropping it. I got bars. You feel me? If this was hip hop, I'd be killing them right now. I would have 3-0'd somebody just now. I don't play with this information. So just keep in mind all this is free. So if it's all over the place, which I really don't teach all over the place. I actually put it in order. This information is actually given to you in order. Because you may say, what this got to do with real estate? It has everything to do with real estate because they treat you like property as well. So when you demonstrate purchasing property like an adult, that's a twofold meaning. One, as an entrepreneur, and two, as a sovereign. You may say, sovereign? Uh-oh. What that mean? Throw your birth certificate and Social Security in the water? Be able to get away with vehicular homicide if I hit somebody, I still don't have to go to court, I don't have to be subject to the jurisdiction? It don't mean none of that. What it means to be sovereign, based on common law, is to own property without a conditional interest. That is to say, to have a fee simple relationship with your property. Okay, when you establish a perfected claim or first in time, first in line lien on your property, whereby nobody else can assert the same because you properly rendered onto yourself true ownership of a property. The property is rendered to Crown. When you own a property free and clear to the best of your ability at the fullest extent of the law, the property based on common law is called the Crown. Who wears the crown or who has the crown? Royalty or the sovereign. And this is why the sovereign is able to set up a staple, a marketplace where people can buy or sell. This staple can be an apartment building where people are renting out from you, where you got a landlord, where you got a janitor. So now you've employed different people. You have your own place where people are not permitted to trespass. That's what a sovereign does. Landlord. Okay, that's what a sovereign does. You have rulership beyond the conventional capacity of the average person. You'll be able to act in your majority as a sovereign. It's real talk. This is real talk. Okay, wrapping up in a few minutes. I just came out of conference. I had no idea I was going to put this much out. Just came out of conference and wanted to share more. I'll be lit with this information. I retired, so this Facebook Live is my way to get it in. You know what I'm saying? This is my way to get this off. So the sovereign is one who has the crown. The crown is the actual property. And when you own the property to the fullest extent of the law, void of a conditional interest, which we know UCC 9-105 in parentheses D, that a debtor can only conditionally own property, we understand the presumption of law stipulates that everything they're doing to you is perfectly legal unless you say otherwise. And then people say, but what if I was doing everything somewhat the wrong way because I didn't know the law? Or what if I had my child born under the birth certificate and I didn't know the law? Then it's an instance of nunc pro tunc. And per nunc pro tunc, which in Latin means now for then, you have the right, like we say this, the law stipulates ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's true. But we also must know he who creates the liability must have a remedy. He who creates liability must have the remedy. Okay? So, having considered this, what is the remedy? What is the remedy? Well, he who creates the liability must have the remedy. So, in an example, if there is a person that had divorced somebody legally, and 3 years later they marry again, only to find out when they marry, oh man, the divorce wasn't conducted properly, not by any fault of their own. Should they be locked up or face any penalties of bigamy when they believe, to the fullest extent of the law, that the divorce was executed legally? The answer is absolutely no. That's an instance of per nunc pro tunc. That's a now for then instance. That means you can't be held accountable. You just been brought to full cognizance that something transpired that was illegitimate and you had no awareness of it. You feel me? I know some people have very short attention spans, so sometimes the conversation goes left field. However, don't get distracted by it. Always understand this is a rare time and occasion where if people really say they care about you, they give you valuable information you can use and make applicable in your life. Put the pieces together. I put up enough free information for you to sew it together and be able to do something with it without me. for those who just like, you know what, I want to do this under his tutelage, email me at brotherpolight45@gmail.com. I must warn you, I do cost money, especially in my retirement. A lot of these conscious people are newscasters. They've reduced themselves from being lecturers to being newscasters. You feel what I'm saying? It's telling you what's going on in places they're not at. When there's a bunch of things going on right where they're at and they need to fix it. I don't want to do that. I want to share what I feel is empowering me in the highest hopes and endeavor that there's people likened to me with similar concerns, similar interests, that if it's empowering me, that obviously will empower them simultaneously. Signing off, Ilufu, as we say in our language, which means perpetual success. I love you all. This is Brother POLIGHT45@gmail.com. Signing off. That's the email. Always leave your name, your full name, and your phone number. We can get lit together. I love teaching. So you get down with the mentorship program. You got the fiat to pay the brother to help you get to the next level. I'm with it. Takes you time. I'm with that. I'll do the program periodically, but like I said, I took some time off. I did a lot of traveling, and I got some space with some people. I do that. You know, whenever I got space and I'm filling up for it, I'm gonna do that. Get on board when you can. Stop wasting time. Stop procrastinating. You're not saving anybody anything. You know, plenty of people gonna want to see if it works for you before they decide to do it. You do it. Let me see what goes down. You know, because they scared, but they're not scared to spend every time. You know, Arabs got gas in the headlock. Jews tend to be accountants and landlords. When you look at black folk, you know, Koreans have the fruit and vegetable stand. Look at black folk, what we got? We got consumerism. We purchase. That's our culture. Our economic culture is the purchase from those who economically created a culture for them to sell. A major product. So certain products are the forte of certain communities. You can literally think of certain communities and think of a corresponding product. Black people are not even going to make money off of Christmas or Thanksgiving. You feel what I'm saying? But they're going to practice it more than everybody else. Salute to you. I hope that you feel empowered. I hope you've learned a whole lot of information. Thank you for listening. This was therapeutic for me. Shared a lot of information. I'm proud of it. Hope you are too. Ilufu, perpetual success. Ilufu. Peace, y'all. Love you all, for real.